content is for informational and educational purposes only. You should not construe any such information or other material as legal, tax, investment, financial, or other advice. Nothing contained here constitutes a solicitation, recommendation, endorsement, or offer to buy or sell any securities or other financial instruments whatsoever by Draper Goren Blockchain, aka DGB, the presenter, or other associated parties for the content being provided. Please do your own due diligence and seek proper counsel.
Boom. Welcome. Excited to have Hrish joining us today. It's been a little while since we had him live hanging out with us. By the way, I don't know if Rankin, if you noticed this, but I'm testing out. I didn't even say it out loud, but I changed the title of the show on the stream, at least, to Crypto Family Hang. I don't even, because I didn't remember this morning what we decided we should name the show. So we're on episode number 20, and we've just been like calling it different things. There's just calling it the DGB show or whatever, and there is no official name, which is kind of a funny meme at this point. But we're trying to figure that out. So I put that on today. But if you're joining for the first time, by the way, or you're joining us live, feel free to comment wherever you're watching from, on Twitter, on YouTube, or LinkedIn, and tell us where you're coming from, or ask questions and whatever you want. If you're not watching it live, you can follow us. Whoops, I just made that the background instead of the overlay thingy. Let's see, here we go. Go to dgb.vc. If you contact us on the forum, you'll get on the newsletter. If you follow at DGB Ventures anywhere, you'll get notifications when we go live and hang out. But generally, we do it at 10 a.m. Pacific time every Tuesday. So, stoked to have Hrish on. I think we've talked about SuperWorld a bunch of times, but Hrish, welcome. Where in the world are you joining us from today?
Thanks. No, it's great to be here. Always a pleasure to hang with you guys, and to do the Crypto Family Hang is amazing. I'm in Spain and calling over from Valencia. So nice. As you might remember, we're nomadic and moved from Miami to Spain last summer. So now we're in Europe for the time being.
Heck yeah. Very, very cool. So you were just at a bunch of the events in the Middle East that were happening. You're an OG in the sort of metaverse space in a way, even though it's kind of weird, right? Because you're SuperWorld. Maybe we should start by, for everyone not familiar, we should give an overview of SuperWorld. But what I was about to say is SuperWorld is an overlay over the real world. So it's kind of, in a way, the opposite of the metaverse, or it is the metaverse overlaid onto the real universe. But tell everyone what it is, and then we should dive in a little bit. I wanna hit all things metaverse, NFTs, and DeFi and everything. But let's start with what's SuperWorld.
Sure. So SuperWorld is a virtual world mapped on top of the real world. So we're in it right now. It's all around us. You have a world, I have a world, brands have worlds. There's an unlimited number of filters on the world, right? And what we've done is we've divided the surface of the Earth into 64 billion geospatial plots, 100 meter by 100 meter blocks covering Earth. And each one of those is structured as a digital asset. If you buy one of those, they're on Polygon, about 100 Matic to buy one unpurchased. Once you buy it, you can reprice it. But as an owner of one of those, you become a stakeholder in that location on Earth, right? 100 meter block. And by being a stakeholder, you could activate monetization from advertising, e-commerce, digital commerce, data, gaming, analytics, DeFi, anything that's monetizing at that location. You become a stakeholder of that monetization as well. And
cool. What are some other unique things you could do with that? Because, what if, for example, this is not a what if. I own some of the hiking trails around me, like the ones that I like to post my LinkedIn videos from. I
Yeah.
own those trails. So could I do, because we've talked about this in the past, and in the early days, it wasn't quite ready yet, but I know there's so much more you can do today versus back then. What can I do? Could I put some kind of Easter egg up on top of Lizard Rock or one of the places on the hiking trails?
Yeah. So, from the very beginning, actually, you could always add content anywhere in the world, right? So, we've made it pretty easy to upload, 3D, 2D content, photos, videos, 360 photos, 360 videos, audio, any type of content. But we've just recently launched our worlds feature. And what this means is now you can build your own curated map of the world, right? So now you can send me a link and you could say, if I'm in LA or anywhere in the world, Dubai, New York, you name it, you could say, hey, Hrish, check out my world, right? Or check out DGB's world, okay, for that matter. And I could click on it, and now I could go around in person in LA on that trail, and you've left me content on that trail. And now it's only your content, or you've left, all the DGB portfolio companies wherever they're located around the world, and I could learn about them. I could see content. I could try their products. I could see marketing that they have. And so it's effectively what you have here is it's kind of like having a Google map, except you're monetizing when I'm interacting in your world, right? And if I love something about your world, let's say I'm like, wow, that's an amazing company that I've never heard of, or that's an amazing piece of content, I could click on it and then bring that into my world. And so then when my friend asks me, hey, I heard you went to LA, what should I do? I can give them a link to my world, and they probably will discover a lot of content that I actually learned about and discovered from your world originally. So then I will monetize from that activity, and you'll monetize as well because I originally got it from your world.
That's cool. That's really cool. So, is there? I've seen the interface online, and actually, you could maybe show it to us too. But where you see the overlay when you're sitting at your computer and stuff like that. Is there an app yet on the phone or a way on your phone to see that content like live? Is there any AR, VR stuff yet? I know it was something talked about in the past, but that would be kind of cool, actually, thinking about it now. Rankin and we have 3D files for our ape now, right? They just released those a week ago. So could I potentially put my ape in various poses on those hiking trails I have, and people could do some kind of scavenger hunt kind of thing where you go and pose with my ape, you throw your arm around him or something, right? Or has his arm around you.
Yes.
Is that kind of stuff possible?
Yes, 100%. So you could do that by uploading your ape as a GLB file, right?
Yeah.
Which is probably the file format that you have it in anyway.
I need to adjust him so he's not just standing there like, Actually, it would be really fun here. I'm going to switch the view for 1 second. They do have the ape, and it's just a puppet, and he's just standing like with his arms straight, just standing there. That would be really funny to put him on like the peak of the mountain, just standing there like like he's on the front of the Titanic, like or like or like Jesus in Rio, on top of the hill. Which then it becomes sacrilegious and maybe not cool to a lot of people, but it would be fun. Yeah.
But you could do that anywhere from desktop. We're browser based. Okay. And so you could access this on the mobile browser with your camera.
But would you be able to take a selfie or just a picture of the thing? Or
you could take a front facing camera view of that, and then just turn your camera to where the back facing camera is facing you, I should say, and then you can take a photo of you and the GLB file.
Right? For now, it's a little better with friends probably than alone. But I think that's a feature you should build in the front facing camera or the front facing camera, so that you can do selfies with the worlds. right?
Yeah, that's a good idea. We should also add front facing to that. Right now, I think it might already be front facing. So I got to check. That's a good point.
Is it okay? Because
Definitely
it's browser based. Back in the day, you guys did have like a mobile app or something, but maybe that was a previous iteration.
No, we do have a mobile app. We actually are reintroducing that with all the functionality of the web. So we actually tell everyone to go to the web on purpose because the real estate, because of NFTs, wasn't fully integrated with the iOS app. So what we did instead was concentrate all of the functionality to the web-based browser. So we moved to WebXR. So now you don't need to download a mobile app to access the AR content.
It might be better that way for me to place like the 3D image in different spots, because like I can't really do that from home because like the elevations and things like that might not work like on a hiking trail, right? Like he could be half buried or floating in the air or something if I just tried to do it from home. So, you know, being able to place him. So I need to get a pose of my ape, like with his arm like around a person kind of thing. And then go on a hike and place them in a bunch of spots.
You got to climb to the top of the hill, Alon.
That's right. There's got to be different, or maybe different poses or things in different places, right? So in the parking lot, it's like a pose next to the sign that says, you know, Wildwood or something, right? And you just have your arm around them. And then at the top of the hill, maybe you're like doing a high five or something else, right? You got to get different poses.
Yeah, the cool thing is that you can do that from anywhere in the world, right? So you don't necessarily need to be in the location to place content. You can place content from anywhere.
But I want the selfies. I want somebody to prove to me they actually went and hung out with Punk Ape Strong, you know,
100%.
And put his arm around him, you know.
What you need is a skateboard for your ape so he can do the Christ Air on top of a ramp.
I'm not. That's a tough.
That would be pretty cool. Go put him at a skate park and people go.
Posing him to just move his arm is something I could probably figure out with a couple of YouTube tutorials.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna find a skate park and I'm gonna plant him as doing a Christ Air with the skateboard in his hand on the top of a ramp. And if you take your phone and you see the ramp, you'll see him there.
That would be rad.
That would be cool.
It would make me want to drive up north to that skate park and take a picture.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
Hrish, can you show us some of the platform? Because if you share your screen using the StreamYard thing, I can bring it on screen. It would be cool to see it in action. Yeah.
There you go. So let me show you a bit about SuperWorld. So we have it on Riyadh. So every week we highlight different cities. We just highlighted Riyadh. I'm going to move to Los Angeles just to show you a bit about how that works. What I'm showing you right now is what's called the Properties tab. Okay, so this is like the first part of the platform that I discussed earlier, where we're buying and selling, you know, the exact geospatial locations on Earth, which makes you a stakeholder there. Those numbers that you see on the map, those are numbers of properties purchased in specific locations. So you can see, you know, literally everywhere on the world, there's people buying, you know, locations, which is really cool because that's kind of just showing you, you know, the fact that people, regardless of where they are in the world, have specific places that they love and are connected to. Maybe they have a business somewhere, or they're, you know, creating content somewhere. They maybe spend time somewhere. Maybe they're interested in a sports team. So the blue properties are the ones that have already been purchased. Anything that's uncolored or not colored is available. If you want to buy something in blue, you have to make an offer on that. Anything in
somebody's still on Ethereum, or is everything on Polygon now?
So everything is migrated to Polygon. We migrated to Polygon because we wanted to reduce the gas fees and just make the transactions go faster. So what we did was we moved to Polygon. So now the gas fees are you know, super low, and then now you can also do bulk buying. So if you want to buy
EVM, Polygon EVM, right?
Polygon EVM, that's right. And then the other thing is the ones that are in orange are repriced. Okay. So, you can see this one's been repriced to $130,000. So again, when you buy a property, you can reprice it to whatever you want. Okay. And so you see most of the properties are blue. So most people don't reprice. And then if I click over here on the AR, you can see posts start popping up. And these are posts that have been created in those locations by users. So, a lot of these are augmented reality. Some of them are 3D or 2D. Some are photos, some are videos. So this is, I think, from the NFTLA conference that took place. So someone put a globe in the conference. And so if I'm in that location, I can view that in AR.
So where is that stored? Is that stored on like IPFS? Is it stored on you? And is there a hosting fee for storing that information?
No, there's no hosting fee. Currently, we're stored on AWS. However, we're progressively decentralizing. So we're actively, assessing.
So these are just like AR posts. That particular thing is not an NFT, right?
Correct.
So,
yeah.
And then NFTs can be tagged to a certain location. Are they?
Yep.
Can NFTs like be claimed at a location, or are they just or anything like that, or is it just kind of like a marketplace, but the interface is location?
So on the NFT side, I'm just going to show you another location. So if I click on NFT, now I'm getting a variety of NFTs here. What you can do is create an NFT and you can sell it at a specific location. And that location is where the monetization for the NFT gets pinned, right?
Gotcha.
And, if you own the location in terms of virtual real estate, then that monetization gets attributed to your virtual real estate. You can also, therefore, if you're buying that NFT, you're acquiring the NFT at that location too. Just answer that question.
Wait, say that again.
So where you're pinning it is then therefore where the monetization happens, as well as where you're acquiring it. That you now own that NFT at that location. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is that you can, every one of these items can be viewed in AR. Okay. So if I'm looking at this on my mobile phone, as an example, I can pull up content in AR as I'm looking at it at that location. So
that's cool. Is it possible on the NFT side to geofence something so you can only purchase it or get it if you're physically in that location? Or you can.
Yeah,
I mean, it's you can spoof location pretty easily on a computer, but it's still pretty radical. Or do you guys have any way of combating that? I don't know if that's possible or how it works, but
so we're using a number of different technologies to create this content and upload the content, as well as to place and view the content. So I'm going to show you an example of our integration with Eighth Wall, with just the Niantic product, right? And so this is a way of, let's say I looked at a car, let's say I'm selling that car, right? I can put that car into a real world location and then view the car if I want to in a 3D type view. Okay. And I can, better understand what that car is. This is just a demo of a vehicle. But the point is I can view any kind of 3D object and I can view it. Now, if I have this on my mobile phone, this shows up in front of me in augmented reality, right? Oh, are you looking at this? I'm sorry. I was showing you the wrong tab.
There we go.
So so you can go inside and look at the vehicle or whatever. And if I'm looking at this on my mobile phone, this shows up in front of me. Okay. In augmented reality, right? So the point is
What? Using the browser on your phone or using an app or?
Yeah, no app download required. This is what I was saying when we said we moved to WebXR. So now you don't have to download an app to view augmented reality content. You can, like, if you, for example, let's say in this car example, you scanned a car using Luma, okay, or scanned a piece of furniture or whatever it is that you want to sell.
It would show it, that object is floating there in the environment.
Yeah, you can send that to someone as a link. I just press this share button, right? And I can copy this link, send it to you on WhatsApp or Telegram or whatever. And then you could click on it, no download required, and look at it in front of you.
In front of you. Okay.
Right. In augmented reality.
Yeah.
Right. If I'm looking at it through my camera, right? Yes. I'm just showing you what it looks like on a desktop. That was the desktop view, but you can look at it in augmented reality. And so that gives you a sense for the real estate and then the content. And then what we recently launched is a feature called Worlds. Okay. And this is what I was telling you earlier, Alon, when I was saying that, you can create a world and, people can come into your world and see content. And so the first world that was created in SuperWorld was from Sports Illustrated. And what they did is they added 250,000 live sports concerts and theater events to SuperWorld. Okay, so I'm just showing you their world, and they're all about ticketing in this case with SI tickets. So I'll give you an example. So if I zoom in on the map here, and I'm at I'm on Broadway in New York City, and I'm looking at a Broadway musical, right? As an example, this is a live musical that I'm buying a ticket to here, and then I can go to the physical, location and watch it. But what's cool is the person
who owns the physical location of that place get a cut of that if a ticket is purchased?
Yeah, so this is an interface that Sports Illustrated has overlaid onto SuperWorld, right? So they're selling these tickets on behalf of, in this case, the Who's Tommy, musical from the Nederlander Theater, right? So this is all, the actual, tickets that are being sold by the organization through Sports Illustrated as the ticketing provider. And what they've done is they've added an overlay onto SuperWorld. So this ticket, if I go and buy this ticket, but you own this property where this is happening, then you're getting 20% of the income from that ticket sale.
That's really cool.
Do you understand? So you're a fan, so you buy the virtual.
So now you can see where it can get really interesting. If people begin to use this interface for purchasing and for browsing and for looking for things to do, then it can get really interesting.
Yeah, because what's interesting about this is I can discover that ticketing in your world. So you could be, let's say, a fan of Broadway, and I'm coming to New York, and you're picking out the shows that I should be going to because they're the best in your opinion, right? And I trust your opinion, and I want, you're an influencer, creator that I'm following, and I want to get your perspective on the world. And it's not just in New York; it's in LA or Tokyo. Now I don't even have to ask you. I just have
the person who creates a world can earn a cut if someone does something. The person who owns the real estate gets a cut if you do something on that plot also. So there is a passive way of just buying the plots of land that you think things are happening on. And then there's an active way of creating your own content on this world and sharing it with your audience and hoping they want to participate. If your goal is earning revenue from it.
Yeah, and I would say it all can be very active because, I think the concept here that's very interesting is if, most people are familiar with YouTube, right? And on YouTube, if you create a compelling YouTube video, you're going to get a lot of attention and a lot of views, and then you're ultimately going to be able to monetize because YouTube's going to show ads on that video because it's getting a lot of views. And what we've done at SuperWorld is we've created geospatial media assets. So if you consider that YouTube a video, a media asset, what we've done is we've geospatialized that. So if you have a geospatial media asset, think of it as a box that you can then add content inside of, right? And so if I, for example, own a location and I start creating content in that location, I start creating attention in that location. And now other people can add content or ticketing or events or whatever, live or virtual, to that location because they want to take advantage of the attention that's being created in that location. Now, you're right. Some places might naturally have more attention than others. Maybe it's Times Square, or maybe it's your football stadium that your, high school has a football game every Friday night, right? Depends on whose attention you want to acquire, right? What
type of content can you, because you can see all of the content through the map, right? But you said you could potentially force a purchase by geofencing something in. Could you force content with geofence where you have to actually be there to see the content? And what content can it be? Like, for example, I'm just trying to throw something, like if a band wanted to play a song and it's in the middle of that stadium, but you have to physically be at that stadium, can you do something like that? Like, because then you could almost like create a event that's an off-peak time, off the books at a public park, and have, what's a famous person who plays like a guitar sitting on the park bench playing you a song, right? But you have to physically be there. Watch it. Taylor Swift sitting on this bench playing this song, but you have to physically be here, but you can come anytime. Is that possible?
Yeah. So, what we're doing is effectively, and I showed you Eighth Wall earlier, but the idea that we've also really been, very much at the core of everything we've built is that the infrastructure is cross-platform. And so as an example, Adobe Aero has technology, Google geospatial map that we've also built on. They have technologies where content is persistent and geolocalized and has to be accessed in that location. So both of those are ways that you can do exactly what you just said. And
what kind of content can you put? Like, can it be AR video with sound?
Yeah. So I'll just show you as an so I'll show you as an example, right? And I just shared this on Instagram a couple of weeks ago. Just as we're going to roll something out soon on this, but this is okay. I'm going to show you an example of what we're doing in SuperWorld and what you can do. You can create a world in SuperWorld, and from your desktop or mobile phone, you can add content like this in real world locations. And people can interact with your content and you can monetize. So it's an example of outdoor advertising in SuperWorld in real world locations.
Can that have sound? Like if you were wearing earbuds, could that world be making a whooshing sound or play a song or something like that?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So that world specifically didn't, but I could have sound coming out of it. And that's totally interactive as well. So you can click on it and go to a website or click on it and do something with it.
That's cool. So then we could do some weird, like I said, like have some artists do a concert at a location that tell everyone, put in your earbuds, bring your SuperWorld app, and you get a private concert from this person. That would be really fun to experiment with.
I just bought another property.
What'd you buy?
I can't tell you right now.
Oh, okay.
Event location.
Got to build it out. Got to put some stuff there. And plus, I might want to buy one.
Nice. Sacramento, right? That's your spot.
No, I don't know. What you're talking about.
So, Chad just said, I think we already got this answer, but just to double check. So Chad asked, so if you're in someone's world at a location, you can also see that content might be available from other worlds.
You're right. So Chad, so this is where we're going with that. And I think you caught what I said about creating attention, right? So for example, if you think of YouTube, and by the way, my co-founder and I both worked on the YouTube platform previous to SuperWorld. So we have a strong understanding of how YouTube works. And, you know, if you think of that analogy and you're, for example, searching a certain topic, and you're on YouTube and you uncover a video, it'll easily tell you, hey, if you're interested in this video, you're probably interested in these other videos, right? And so, you know, similarly, you can see on the screen, it says featured worlds and trending worlds. What we, you know, also are going to be doing is when you are searching in specific locations or searching on the search bar for certain content, you know, we're going to be providing you recommendations on either content or worlds based on your search that you would also be likely interested in. So you got a geospatial search there based on location, but you also have this kind of contextual search, and all of that will be integrated with you know, LLMs and you know, the ability to have this kind of generative AI understanding of your surroundings at any time.
That's super cool. Yeah, I think there could be some really fun real world use cases, obviously, especially when you go to a concert or go to a conference or go to something, right? Like I can imagine, right, if you do the 3D content really well, like I was saying, like the park bench scenario, right? I could imagine an artist going, "Oh, I'm going to the conference," or you're coming to my concert. I know there's a long line or whatever. A lot of you like to come earlier in the day. I have a surprise waiting for you out in front of the conference, right? And so then they could go and watch out. Or I can't attend Comic-Con this year. I'm so bummed about it. But don't worry, I'll be by the front entrance if you want to take a picture with me, right? And then you have any random person, right? That's a cool artist do some kind of something like that. Or
imagine a concert, right? And every time you stand in line, you have people coming to you saying, "Hey, if you want to pay for a VIP pass, you can move to the front of the line and get in now." And so they go to your spot, and in their spot has the link to the VIP pass that you can pay for in the app.
Oh, if they open up SuperWorld, yeah.
Yeah.
That could be how you know, once you get the attention of watching a concert, then you could go, "Hey, do you want you know, pay $20 extra to get in the VIP entrance or something?" Like
right?
You upsell people.
Imagine if everybody went to their SuperWorld app to get the VIP passes.
No, it's a cool idea. I think there's unlimited ideas for stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm just hooked on this one idea because it just sounds so fun. So when you on the upper right, it says you can upload content. You're earning something. Yeah. What are you earning for stuff? And then when I asked the 3D content, I know you use like the Blender files or GLB or whatever, but does a GLB have sound baked in, or do you need a certain kind of file type? I have no idea how to do those 3D things. I'm researching that.
Yes. Yeah, so the GLB typically doesn't, but the software that we use to upload some of this content will allow you to you know, add different other files together into that, and interactivity and other things. So you can basically program an experience. And this is where, you know, the AR goes from just being like a static file to actually like anything you want, right? Okay. And yeah, go ahead.
So I was gonna say, so what can you walk us through? Like, how would we upload our apes? Are we gonna need this 50 super or something like what? And how do we get that? What do we do to put our apes up in the
okay. So if you see the top right there, the middle right, it says the create screen, and this is kind of like the main dashboard. So the first thing that any user would do is come over to SuperWorld, sign up. You know, first thing I'd recommend is create a world, which now is your own map. Yeah, it's your own map of the world, right? Think of it as your own map. The difference between this map and a Google map is, first of all, we incorporate all the maps. You know, we're on Google Maps, Mapbox, Bing Maps. The other part of it, which is big, is that we're helping you monetize, right? So we want you to monetize on your map, all different types of content, and it's decentralized. So you can actually own the map. So a lot of other people come in and start, you know, buying properties, as you've just did, David. And then once you've done that, now you can create. So the idea is you can create a business profile, which again, due to COVID, and even before COVID, a lot of us might have started going more virtual. Maybe we don't have an office, we work from home, but you know what? We're based in LA, right? The beauty of this is now you can create a business profile and you could put a location for your office in downtown LA or wherever you want, downtown Dubai as well. We're a virtual world, so you can be based in anywhere in the world that you want. And you can build, not only that location, but now you have virtual real estate connected to that. You have a digital twin potentially. So, you can create I'm showing you an example of a digital twin, right? I can walk into your hotel or office. You can create a 3D version of your location. Okay.
That looks like a good office. We could use that.
Yeah, that's a big hotel. This is an example of a store, right? So you have a retail store, you can have people come in and shop in your store, but you can add all the
twin. Did somebody do the 3D model of all that and then import that into SuperWorld?
So how that works is, similar to our ethos, we've integrated with Matterport, which you're probably familiar with. It's the number one software, for real estate. And so we have a digital twin studio service. It's $60 a month, and you can create a digital twin. People can pop into it. You can add videos, photos. If you're an artist, you can create a 3D gallery. Anything. It's all very photorealistic, as you saw. It's not like a video game. It looks very real. You can walk into it, and you can actually shop. You can buy stuff. You can view things. And we're getting a lot of interest from people who are like, you know what? I don't have an office, but if I did, this is what it would look like. And I want people to come in and see my office. And there's other people, it's funny, who are like, I have an office, but now that we've gotten remote, no one gets to see my office. And I'd love to have it as a digital twin so people can see that I have this amazing, beautiful office in downtown LA. Artists want to use it, so we're doing some artist galleries that are in 3D. So now doing these very photorealistic, upscale art shows. But that's what building a digital twin is. Uploading content, that's pretty simple. So that's for the ape, right? You just go click the button, upload content. You can upload a GLB file, photos, videos, 360.
What is the 50
create
plus?
Events.
What is it? Is that a token? What is that? What do we do?
Yeah.
And how do we get that to be able to use? Or sure. There's a cost associated with that.
So everything on there is free except to build a digital twin. That's a subscription product.
Okay.
Creating digital assets, again, there's a small gas fee to create a digital asset. We're on Polygon, so it's
So that plus 50 doesn't mean anything. That plus 50 that's on there doesn't mean
you receive. Yeah. So what this means is we launched an in-game currency. Called SuperWorld X.
That's a reward.
It's a reward. That's right. Yeah. Awesome. So for any one of those actions, you're earning. If you see on the top right there, it says earn. And so what you'll do is you'll be able to earn our in-game currency, which then you can actually spend on, doing things like buying virtual real estate or, building a digital twin or other services that we're adding. So we've had that in-game currency for about 6 months now. We've been testing how all of that is working because as a big announcement that's coming but just to put it out there, we're planning a token launch later this summer. So we'll be integrating that into what we're doing with our token as well. So we're moving from utilizing Polygon and Matic to having our own token.
That's really cool. Very cool. Yeah. So it was really funny. Kevin posted this, but when somebody posts something like this, I don't want to say it unless the founder mentions a token, just because people depending on compliance and BS like that. So it sounds like something's in the works. So that's pretty radical. We ended up spending so much time on SuperWorld. We didn't talk too much about other metaverses and things like that. But the segue, I don't even know, right? Like we can, here, I'll remove this from the screen for now. We can always bring it back if we want. But like, you know, in this world where yeah, you gotta be careful, Kevin. You can't just throw that shit out there. You know, in this world where we have these ideas of what the metaverse is, and you ask, like, you know, there's the Facebooky meta version of just kind of VR. There is the NFT version of, like, you know, the Sandbox or Decentraland or something like that. And then you have the sort of overlay on the real world. So, you know, the overlay on the real world that we have with SuperWorld, you know, what do you see as the key differences, right? And how do you, you know, what do you think of things like the Sandbox and Decentraland and things like that? Because I'm sure you get lumped in with them all the time.
Well, you know, we're very you know, a big supporter of the open metaverse, and I'm on the board and a founder of the Open Metaverse Alliance, OMA 3, along with Sandbox and Decentraland and Upland and Alien Worlds, and, you know, all of the other major virtual worlds. So again, very big supporter. We're very close to Sandbox. Seb from Sandbox is one of our investors. But we love the whole ecosystem. I think what we're doing is very different, and I think everyone will kind of tell you that. First of all, we're not a game per se, right? You know, Decentraland, Sandbox, Upland, you name it. These are all games, and you know, SuperWorld's about your real life. It's about your business. It's about, you know, the sports team you support. It's about, you know, maybe some philanthropic cause that you're involved in, and how do you want to use Web3 to, you know, support that cause or bring your community into that cause. So what we want to do is serve as a gateway for mainstream users, not gamers particularly. A lot of gamers use SuperWorld, and you can create a game in SuperWorld, right? We've had scavenger hunts created in SuperWorld. But first and foremost, we're about what you're doing in your real life. And you know, a lot of that is not necessarily a game, right? So I think what's really interesting is, and I hear this a lot from brands, is, you know, they tell me, look, you know, the reason we like SuperWorld is our customers are in the real world, and, you know, they're interacting with our brand in ways that are, you know, are more native to our brand, and those ways aren't typically a game, right? And so what SuperWorld allows brands to do is have very native interactions with their customers in the places where their customers already are. The beauty of SuperWorld is we're here. If we're talking about a beach and you're talking about Venice Beach in LA, SuperWorld is on Venice Beach. Like, you don't have to take the users and bring them somewhere else. You can put a QR code there, or just send a message to your, you know, email list and say, hey, look on, you know, click on this link and pull out your phone and look on Venice Beach, or click on this link and go to our map interface on Venice Beach, right? So
it's really cool. I'll say my favorite differentiator from today too, just to throw some more love at SuperWorld, is that, you know, one of the things I've talked about a lot, actually, because I like to talk about the games, right? And I talk about Roblox and my kids, and I'm sure I've gone down some of these tirades hanging out with you. But, you know, one of the things that makes Roblox special is that kind of like WordPress, anyone can build on it. And even, you know, depending on how complicated you want to get, a Google search will get you a billion tutorials of how to build certain things and do certain things on Roblox. And I think that a lot of the metaverses kind of have an idea of, ooh, it would be cool if we allow people to build games on it, kind of like this Roblox universe or Minecraft or something like that. But they give everyone a huge barrier to entry, which is pay us for this land before you can build on it. And that's not how you build a thriving ecosystem. That's how you build speculation, right? So there are people that probably speculate on the land on SuperWorld, right? But people who want to create content and build, there isn't like a wall saying you must own the land to create your own world, to build your own thing or whatever. Like as 100%. You saw, or as you showed, there's only one feature that had an upsell that you might pay for. But all the rest of the things, adding links, making NFTs, doing AR stuff, creating content, all that, there's no barrier whatsoever. And then you can get paid. If you want to own the land it's on, it's a separate thing, but you don't have to own the land it's on. I think that's a big problem with the Web3 metaverses is the best content creators are being told, one, there aren't users there yet. So you have to be convincing them to join, not telling them pay and then you get to build. Pay to get into the concert and then you're going to do the concert and then maybe people will show up because you're here. It's like, that doesn't make any sense, right? The incentives are totally backwards and upside down. So I love that anyone can just come in and create content. Like I had ideas with you, like one of the times I was asking you, like, can you help me import content? Because I was like, everyone knows, right? I'm a huge nerd and Bad Religion fan, right? There's a website out there called the brpage.net that I contributed to for like a bazillion years, like ever since the early days of the web, right? And they have a section of their website that has every concert Bad Religion has ever played, ever, since like the early 80s. It's a whole list of the concert, the location, and then there's sometimes links to YouTube videos of the concert. Sometimes there's links to the whole.
Did he freeze? Did he freeze? I think he froze.
Yeah.
No, so it's very cool. We'll wait for him to come back. Oh, there he is. He's back.
Okay, I think I got a weird glitch. I think, yeah, probably my internet connection. But you guys get the idea, right? An overlay of a super fan, right? And you could do that for like anyone could probably go in there and go, ooh, I'm going to put every Taylor Swift concert that's ever happened in a Taylor Swift world on here and create their own content that goes along with it, or not. Just that's the content, right? It's just like a fan page, and they could link out to different places for concert tickets to different things. The Sports Illustrated thing probably has tickets to every one of her shows on there. And all of a sudden it could be a monetizable opportunity. And I think anyone who has any crazy idea to be able to do that is really cool.
Well, so I'm wondering, do you have any future plans of integration with something like the Google, or not the Google, but the Apple AR or VR headsets or the Oculus headsets? So that way,
yeah, most definitely. So to be clear, you know, the content that is available in SuperWorld can be viewed in VR as well. First of all, clearly in the browser, right? So you can go into a browser and view any of these AR objects in those devices.
But also experience too, right?
Yeah. And then the other thing is that you can add a link to any location. So you could add VR content to any location, but you can also add AR portals, which are basically ways that you can go inside of an AR experience. It turns it into VR, right? So there's a number of ways to add virtual reality to anything. So even though we do say it's AR, the fact of the matter is the content could be AR, it could be VR, 3D, 2D audio. And the one thing that's coming very soon is generative AI as it relates to creating content. So I think, you know, Alon had a great point is, you know, we need to democratize not only the ability for people to create and place content in real world locations, but also how do we make it easy for them to actually create that content, right? And so now they can just say a few words and create 3D content. So we have an integration coming with a well-known generative AI company that's going to allow you to say words and turn it into 3D scenes or 3D content that you can then upload to a real world location.
That's really cool.
It also looks like you can create. So for example, if you buy a business location, it looks like you can go and create a business profile for that business in that location if you wanted to.
Yeah. And the big thing that I didn't mention is there's a lot of businesses that their biggest need is, search. So if I'm looking at a business and I'm like, okay, I'm in Los Angeles, I want to find a plumber, right? Or I want to find a lawyer, you name it, right? I'm doing a Google search for that. Now, the content that you can create and place on the map, a business profile and AR posts that I showed you, and NFTs are all searchable on Google. So when you create content, that content boosts your SEO of your company and geo-localizes your company to that location in Google search. And so if I'm looking for a business, the fact that you now have created a business profile in SuperWorld and or added content to that location with your business name and maybe even like even a link to a Google map right into that post, now it's pushing up all your Google search results. And that actually came from one of our super citizens who's an SEO professional. So thanks, Matt, out there. Matt is an SEO professional, and he was like, I'm telling all of my clients about this because they can create a world and they can start creating content, and their Google search results goes to the top of the rankings.
That's good enough.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, there is, you might notice it if you have certain privacy settings on your phone or whatever. You go to do a Google search on your phone or on your laptop, depending on your settings, and it'll pop up saying, do you allow Google to see your location? Location is part of how they recommend stuff to you, right? So if you search plumber, right, they're going to show you a plumber that's nearby before they show you a plumber that has better internet presence but is in another state, right? And so creating localized content makes a ton of sense. That's cool. We only have a couple minutes left, and I think we spent a lot of time talking about the platform and talking about SuperWorld, not as much other stuff, which is totally fine with me and fun. Any last minute things or best places for people to catch up with you, follow you, sign up to a newsletter? Where should people go?
I'm all over on social media everywhere. LinkedIn's a great place to find me at Hrish Lotlikar, Twitter at Hrish Lotlikar, Instagram. They're all kind of linked together. Join our Telegram group, which you can find on our website as well. We have a Discord, but we're all over the place. We're going to be kind of expanding.
SuperWorldApp.com.
That's right, at SuperWorld App, and it's superworldapp.com on the web. Yeah. So go to the web. We're focusing all of our efforts on web and WebXR. And so the website is the best place to find us, superworldapp.com.
Well, I'm looking forward to putting an ape in there. I think the hardest part is going to be figuring out how to put my ape's arms down in Blender.
I know we have the some people did some cool tutorials of how to use Blender to do their ape, but I've already moved beyond that idea to how do I get the 3D version of Punk Ape Strong to sit on a park bench and play a song. That's
a little more. Yeah, a little more effort there.
I'm gonna have to find somebody on Fiverr or something.
It's an animation job, but it shouldn't be that hard. I mean,
hey, if anyone in the community is a good animator and wants to experiment with an ape, let me know. Let's make a deal.
That's an animation with an ape, and then Adobe Aero to upload it to that location. And persistent location. I don't know about the time aspect of that.
How hard is it?
I'm fine with if you show up, you just put in earbuds. It's either playing on a loop or you click and he starts playing, right? Something like that.
How hard is it to put your object in place there with not being there?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. So we have, and I showed you the car earlier. There's these two little kind of gauges on there that you can go up and down. So, that's the reason for that.
The user can move them up and down. Could I go in person and place them properly? Or does it change because your phone might have not exact data?
No. So when you place them, you can place them in the exact using the measures as well. So you can place it exactly where you want it. And then I don't know if I showed it to you guys tonight, but I think I have shown it to you before, Alon, is we're moving to a totally 3D view as well. So you can jump into the map. Right.
Cool.
So
is any place, is that basically any place that like has the Google Earth maps? I mean, but Google Earth maps is still not like super high res once you get down to the city, right?
Yeah, this is why we haven't, released it earlier. We were waiting for it to get a little bit better. It's pretty good, but yeah, there's a little ways to go in terms of resolution on those maps. But again, we're built on Google and Bing and Mapbox and other mapping software. So this is kind of a CCM Google Maps integration that's coming.
That's really freaking cool.
Yeah,
I'm excited. Well, thanks for joining us a little last minute this time, but we're going to do a lot more of these. We're getting into the groove now, and we'll definitely have you back when you have any big announcements. And I appreciate you and your time. And I know it's also the evening for you out there, so thanks for staying on a little late, and have a good evening. Thanks, Hrish.
Yeah, thank you. Always my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thanks everyone for joining us. We'll see you next week, same time, and maybe other times in between too.
And throw up the Twitters and banners.
Should I throw up the banner thing? Yeah, I should.
Throw up the banner.
So
throw up the banner.
Remember to follow us and stuff.
Yeah.
All right.